Hello, everyone. I'm Dijon,
And I'm Amir.
and welcome to the Mustacast, the podcast about the art of storytelling and how it's used across different mediums. Make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe if you want to see our channel grow, and to click the notification bell excuse me, so that you're notified when we post. So, Amir, you can start with what media you're consuming.
I got Saints Row the Fourth. Again because I had it on my Xbox
I thought you were
and
about to
I've been
say,
playing that.
I thought you were about to say you got like an early review copy of Saints Row. I was going to say, oh man, we're moving up in the world.
No. Oh wow! Can you imagine though?
That would be insane.
Hey, any game companies out there? I'm just throwing that out there.
Volition Games, if you want to give us a copy of Saints Row.
Hit us up. Not just Saints Row. I mean, I'm talking like Gotham Knights, Hogwarts Legacy. Any game that we've mentioned on this podcast. Any game developers are like, maybe we'd like to hear what they have to say. I think we would do great for a review copy.
Saints Row 4.
Yeah, no, send us review copies. We would love to play your game.
Yeah, so how you liking Saints Row 4? Because I definitely recently have been having a lot of discussions on Twitter with people about the new Saints Row game because it comes out next week. Jesus,
Hey, what?
what was all that movement?
Oh no, that was just my chair.
Yeah, I was having.
I'm sorry, Saints Row what?
So I was saying I've been having a lot of like just talking on Twitter about that game a lot. Because it comes out soon, and a lot of people are like, "Wow, this game comes out next week," and like no one's talking about it.
But it comes out next week though. Like that's ridiculous. I didn't even know that. Wow. Okay, that.
I think that goes to show how little it goes to show both how little they've advertised it, but also how little people really care about it.
It's going to underperform. I know it's going to underperform, not because of like
It's funny, you
how
know what's
good or
funny?
bad it is.
I just went to Twitter to go to
But
their I just went to Twitter to go to their Twitter to find out the exact day it's coming out, and currently Saints Row is actually trending on Twitter.
wow.
It comes out in 2 days.
I'm sorry. What?
That's why it's trending, because it comes out in 2 days. And
Are
now
you
people are talking about it. People are
serious?
talking about it at the very last possible moment.
I didn't know it came out. I thought no joke. I genuinely thought it was coming out next year. Wow.
Honestly, okay, so go ahead and talk about Saints Row 4 before we start talking about the new one.
Yeah. It's definitely fun. Once you get a single superpower, you kind of don't need guns anymore, which is kind of hilarious.
Yeah.
Once you get a single like any superpower, you really don't need guns whatsoever anymore, and so it's just kind of fun, like running at super speed and like super jumping into people and like punching them with the strength to like shatter a car. So I haven't been using guns in that game. Like as soon as I beat the first boss and you got like that like freeze blast superpower, I just stopped using guns altogether. I don't use cars. I don't use anything. All my money, I have like millions of that money, or millions in money in Saints Row because I don't use any of it because I'm not doing anything. I'm not buying guns or cars or anything. I'm just running and jumping and punching stuff. Um, but yeah, no, I'm having a lot of fun with that. I've also been playing a lot of Skyrim. I've been playing a lot of Hunt Showdown because we were talking about it last time. A cowboy game where you kill supernatural stuff would be fun. I want like an actual RPG like Red Dead to come out where you're doing that. Like it's like The Witcher but cowboys. I would love that. But because we can't have that, the closest thing is Hunt Showdown, which is a battle royale, but it's really fun. It's one of the only battle royales that I actually like. That's been a lot of fun. I started watching Yu Yu Hakusho. Did I mention that last time?
No, you did not.
Was it that long ago?
Yeah, no, you didn't.
Okay, yeah, no, I started watching Yu Yu Hakusho. That is one of my favorite anime. That anime is peak fiction.
Yu Yu
I
Hakusho is
love
amazing.
it.
I love Yu Yu Hakusho.
Like it is. Oh my god, that show is hilarious. Like I don't know what they were smoking when they were making that show, but it is the greatest thing ever, and I love it so much. Um, what else? Because there's definitely more. I saw Bullet. Oh, that's what it was. That's what I want to talk about. I saw Bullet Train. It was amazing. Literally one of my favorite movies of all time. I really got to redo my list now because it might be top 3.
Yeah, I've heard it was a fun movie. I might see it when it's out on like digital.
it wasn't just fun. It was amazing. Like it's genuinely one of the best movies I've seen in a long time. It was really good. Like I can't say anything without spoiling it, but like it is really good. And oh my god, the amount of stars in that movie is ridiculous. There is I didn't know that Andrew Koji was gonna be in the movie, and like he's in like the first like 15 seconds of the movie is where his character's introduced. And I was like, yo, like Andrew Koji's in this movie. And of course, anyone that watches this podcast knows I love Andrew Koji like with everything. And he's like one of the characters in this movie. The only downside that I really had to it is you don't really get Andrew Koji doesn't really fight in this movie, which is a little disappointing because like he can fight like really well, and he's just not fighting in this movie. But um, yeah, no, it's an amazing movie. You really gotta watch it. It's oh my god, it's so good. And I thought it was directed by Quentin Tarantino at first because like the amount of blood in that movie.
I thought you were gonna say the amount of feet.
No, there were actually there. I don't think there were any feet in this movie. Thank God, because feet are ugly to me. But uh, it's there's so much blood. I really like. I assumed it was a Tarantino movie. It wasn't, but oh my god, that movie's just it's so good. It is. I could rave about that movie for hours, but I'm not going to. Oh, I also started reading this book that my aunt got me for Christmas that I never got around to reading. I'm finally getting around to reading. Called Bodies in the Library, which is a collection of detective short stories that are really rare from like really popular like true crime or not true crime, really popular like crime novelists. And it's really good because I read a lot of crime fiction and I hadn't read like 90% of these short stories because they're so rare and they're like published in like a single magazine like one time. And it's just great to like read like this collection of like all these short stories from all these really famous authors. Um, yeah, that's about it, I think.
So yeah, Saints Row's trending, and I'm just looking through. So I was just looking through some tweets, and somebody had randomly responded to one of the tweets I made. I was responding back, but I thought for me, what makes me hesitant about that game and make me at this point I'm at a point where I'm like I'll probably just wait for a discount unless I hear it's like the best thing ever. I'll probably just wait for a significant discount before I ever play it. But it's because, and it's only one thing, because in terms of gameplay, it looks like Saints Row 3, and Saints Row the Third is my favorite Saints Row game. So that makes it look fun. But I feel like it's not just the fact that they didn't bring back the old characters in any type of form. On my personal opinion, I think that they should have just reimagined the characters for the remake, the older characters. It's also the fact that Saints Row has for me personally, what I really like about it are something I really like about it are the kind of like over the top, larger than life characters. And I'm not like a lot of people keep calling them hipsters and all that stuff and comparing it to Watch Dogs 2, which Watch Dogs 2 is a great game. But I do think that those characters wouldn't fit necessarily Saints Row, and it definitely gives that vibe. But I don't think it's the fact that they're quote unquote hipsters that's the problem, or the fact that they started a gang because they wanted to pay off student debt. Because I think that's hilarious, and that fits the tone of the world of Saints Row that I like. That started in Saints Row 3, which became more comedic. It fits very well, and I think it's funny, and it could work really well. I think it's the fact that the characters like this, they could have used this as an opportunity to be really really funny and um make fun of hipsters and millennials and Gen Z, and also make fun of just modern culture in general, of like social media, of like just a bunch of stuff about today's culture that is often made fun of and pretty comical, and do it in a very tasteful way. I feel like they could have done that, and they could still be doing that. I don't know, the game's not out, and hopefully they do, and it's a good game. I hope it's a good game, but they haven't done a good job advertising it in a way that makes me want to play the game, because first and foremost the characters look boring. They don't look interesting. They don't look larger than life and just super fun and goofy like the characters were in Saints Row the Third and Saints Row 4, and that's why I'm not interested in the game. But anyway, moving on to the things that I've been consuming lately. I've read some more of The Witcher: Swords of Destiny. I've been reading that book on and off again. I'll finish it one day and get to the third book. Watch She-Hulk. We'll both talk about that later. Have you seen it? I hope you saw it. I meant to ask you about that before.
Yeah, I saw it.
Okay, good. I've been rewatching Daredevil. And I'm on like the third episode of the second season. That show's so good. Why is Daredevil so good, man? Daredevil's amazing. I'm watching. I'm like, wow, this is the greatest comic book TV show ever made. Nothing comes close. It's so damn good. Like it's ridiculously good. I started watching the show on HBO Max. Um, called The Sex Lives of College Girls. I was hanging out with a friend and they put it on, and then I got engrossed into the story, and it's a really good show. As you can imagine, it's about the sex lives of college girls. It's really funny. It's a comedy for the most part, with a lot of drama. It's a good show. It's really fun. It's in the vein of a show like Sex Education on Netflix. Sex Education is also another really good show about just the sex lives of kids between like 16 to 19, and it's just if you're a teenager and you want some like obviously dramatized but realistic depictions of just that aspect of life. It's this these two shows are pretty good. Harley Quinn, been watching that. 3 or 4 episodes out now. Gordon continues to be this version of Gordon's so funny. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous how funny he is. And Joker in the show is he's different. He's like trying to be a good guy kind of now, and it's very interesting. He's like a stepdad to these Hispanic kids. It's pretty funny. I've been rewatching Ben 10, and I was always gonna start my rewatch of Ben 10 from Alien Force because that's my favorite iteration of the series. But Blind Wave, the reaction YouTube channel I talk about all the time, started doing a reaction to Ben 10, and I subscribe to their Patreon, so I get the full length reactions. So I watch it alongside them, and um it holds up so well. I was afraid that Ben 10, much like Teen Titans, would be like Teen Titans is a good show, especially for kids getting into comic book stuff. But as at the age I am now, it just doesn't no it no longer suits my interest and my sensibilities and like entertainment. But Ben 10 100% still does. Ben 10, the original series, is still really good. It still holds up. If you liked it when you were a kid, you probably will still like it now. Ben 10 is amazing. I've been watching Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, which is a good cartoon. A lot of people hated on it. Nowadays, people have come to enjoy it, but when it first came out, which is ridiculous because every iteration of the Ninja Turtles cartoons have been very different from each other. Every single time, they're extremely different from each other. But for some reason, this was the one that made. Well, I'm sure every time it was different, people went off. But now the internet's much more prevalent, and people just can just display their opinion to the world more easily. But yeah, Rise of the Teenage Mutant Turtles is much more comedic, but it easily has the best animation of any of the Ninja Turtle shows. The fight scenes are amazing. The animation is so good. The Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie is also on Netflix as well as the entire series, and I've been making my way towards excuse me, through the series. It's good. If you like Ninja Turtles, you should check it out. I've been watching. Well, I watched and finished Tekken Bloodline on Netflix. A 6 episodes anime series. It's in like that 3D CG with 2D textures over top of it. And it's actually a really good art style. When they're sitting still, you can't tell that it's CG. But the animation isn't great. It feels like they were using animations directly from the game, and those don't necessarily translate to a cinematic, like storytelling. I also feel like it could have used like some more episodes. I feel like it rushed the story along a bit, and it skipped tons of the fights. It included newer characters like Leroy, who wasn't a part of the because this is based off Tekken 3. Leroy just didn't exist as a character in that portion of the story. So Leroy Smith. So like yeah, I don't know why they put Leroy in there. It was weird. He felt so out of place. But it was fun. If you like Tekken, you might enjoy it. But yeah, that's all I got for current events. Moving on to animation. So, this, have you heard about this, Amir? Discovery is removing over a dozen animated shows from HBO Max.
Yeah, I saw that. Actually, Tyler and I were talking about that because I was like, I might start watching Steven Universe, and now I'm not going to start watching Steven Universe.
No, Steven Universe still in it. They're not getting rid of Steven Universe. Steven Universe is way too profitable. They're getting rid of
No,
stuff.
that's one of the. They announced that was leaving HBO Max.
It's not one of the shows, bro. I'm telling you that right now.
That's one of the. I saw the announcement. It's one of the shows on there. We were
Steven
just
Universe.
talking about that like an hour and a half ago.
Steven Universe is not one of the shows leaving HBO. What are you talking about?
I just saw the announcement. That's one of the shows. We were just talking about it. Like literally just talking about it.
Amir, you're so wrong, and I don't understand why you believe that Steven Universe, one of the most popular Cartoon Network shows in recent time, is one of the shows that
All
they're
right,
removing.
give it like 2 months. All right, that's all I'm gonna say. Give it 2 months, and I want this
Here's what I've
quoted
said.
two
Here's what
months
I've
from now.
said. No, 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 don't do that because I'm saying they're not removing it right now. They're not. I just looked it up. Amir, they're not removing Cineverse. I'm not saying they'll never do it because they've been removing a lot of popular stuff from HBO Max in terms of cartoons, like Infinity Train, which I'm about to get into. But Steven Universe is not one of the things they're currently removing, Amir. They're not. That's just not a thing
I
that's happening.
literally, I swear on everything, I would put money on it. I
Just yeah,
just saw an announcement.
and what you saw was wrong. Anyway,
What I
moving on.
all right, okay,
So
no, I'm just gonna let you go with that. I'm just
I'm
gonna let
gonna
you go with that.
I'm gonna list every
I'm
single
gonna
show.
let you go with it.
I'm going to list every single one of the shows. I don't understand why. That's so ridiculous that you think they removed Stevie Rose. But I'm going to just name all of the shows, okay? And then I'm going to talk about some further details. So they're removing Aquaman King of Atlantis, Close Enough, which freaking sucks. Dodo, Elliot from Earth, Esme and Roy, The Fungies or Fungies, Infinity Train, Little Ellen, Mao Mao, Messi Goes to Okito, Mia's Magic Playground, Mighty Magiswords, Odo, OKKO, The Ali and Moon Show, Pac-Man and the Ghostly Avengers, some Sesame Street specials, Summer Camp Island, the Not Too Late Show with Elmo, The Runaway Bunny, Theodosia, Tig and Seek, Uncle Grandpa, Victor and Valentino, Yabba Dabba Dinosaurs, and that's it. So the three that I'm most upset about are Close Enough, Infinity Train, and Mao Mao because I love Close Enough, and I was like, well, now I got to binge Close Enough, and I started binging it right, and I had 3 episodes of the second season left, and I was like, I'm done with the show. Just to find out, like as soon as the second episode, the last episode of the second season ended, it started queuing up episode 1 of season 3, and I was like, "There's a third season! Oh my god!" And then I had to hurry up and rush through the third season, and it sucked because I had to work. So I had like I hate working. I don't work and watch TV. I work and watch YouTube. I can work and listen to podcasts and music, but I don't like working and watching TV because I'm not paying attention to what's on TV. I get a gist of what's happening, but I'm not fully engrossed in it. Especially when it's an animation and everything's just beautiful and it's hand drawn. I want to pay attention to that, and I just couldn't do that because I was trying to watch it before it was too late. I didn't know because they didn't tell us what days these things were going away. They just said that they were going away by the end of this week. And yeah, I had like 3 episodes. I understand the gist of what happened, but didn't really pay attention and barely looked at the screen because I was working, and that sucks. Close Enough is a really good show, and it sucks that it's gone. At this point, I believe it's gone. I've also heard a lot of really good things about Infinity Train, and all this situation did was make me convince me to finally watch Infinity Train. It was always on my list of things to watch eventually, but now I'm like, okay, now I really want to watch Infinity Train because it's apparently one of the highest rated HBO Max original series in general, let alone animated ones. And now it's gone. And also, I saw a trailer for Mau Mau, and Mau Mau looks really cool. It looks fun. It kind of reminds me of like Puss in Boots. It looks like it was really fun, and I kind of want to check it out now, but it's gone. Um, they've even gone as far as removing any promotional videos from YouTube, every tweet about some of these shows, their music from streaming platforms, and they're preventing new physical DVDs from being released on digital or yeah, digital or you know, brick and mortar storefronts. So yeah, they're going real hardcore with making sure that these things are gone. And here's the reason why. Naturally, there's no good goddamn reason for this, but there's one big bad greedy one. And it's that they're likely removing titles some of which are lesser watched, but some of them are very well. I think all of them are lesser watched, but a lot of them are highly rated. Programs to save money on paying out residuals. And for those who don't know what residuals are, they're basically payments to the writers, actors, and directors, and others who worked on the show that they receive from the studio or the distributor when a production is rerun or reused. And that's how people make a lot. Like the actors from Friends make a lot of money from the residuals of Friends being rerun all the time. Um, and this someone on Twitter named at Grover McGallahan describes it. I feel like better than I can. Uh, and they say shows and movies have a profit life expectancy. If you remove it before it dies, you can get a tax write off for the rest of the money it was supposed to make. It's like killing all your chickens so you can sell the meat instead of waiting for them to lay eggs. So basically, if the chicken was dying, instead of waiting for them to lay eggs, Um, you just kill them and sell their meat, and that's basically what they're doing. For the sake of saving some money, they're just destroying they're just the animation side of HBO, specifically the stuff from Cartoon Network, the newer stuff from Cartoon Network. Um, this is just one of the many attacks on the animation industry that is low key. It's not even low key. I don't even know why I said low key. Is preventing them from unionizing and being properly compensated and treated by the entertainment industry. It sucks that that stuff like this is happening, and um, and the thing is, this isn't even just a matter of my optimism, my hopefulness, but with the outrage that's happening and all the people paying attention to it and who will never stop paying attention to it, I don't see a situation where nothing good comes out of this, where this does not result in some something being put in place to prevent something like this from ever happening again. Because there are a lot of people out there who collect physical media, right? And this isn't all of them, but some people who collect physical media like to get high and mighty about the fact that they have media that people can't just snatch away from them at a whim, and because of that, they're smarter than people or better than people. And 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 to that I say, I don't think people like me who prefer digital things should be um, judged for either liking the convenience of saving space because I read books digitally, so because I think they look better with a backlight from a tablet or a phone or a computer, but also it saves space because I don't have books everywhere. And also same with DVDs, same with games. It saves space. So it often saves money. It also I can get things immediately. The only difference is with games I have to wait for them to download, but otherwise I get things immediately. And I don't think we should be judged for that. And I also think that we shouldn't be what's the word I'm looking for? Damn, I hate when this happens. I always forget a word that would perfectly describe what I'm trying to say. Um, I guess I'll just say like treated poorly by the people in charge of these things for wanting that. They're taking advantage of us because they know that this is our preferred way of doing things, and they're kind of like exerting power and also doing this to just make money or save money. And it sucks that they can just do this with the content that we enjoy. Yeah, that sucks. Any opinions, Amir?
Not really.
I should also mention that uh, Cartoon Network's 30th anniversary is coming up in October, and they just had like over half of their like currently airing cartoons axed. Recently they sold some cartoon rights to HBO because they trust HBO and they're owned by HBO, even though they had the rights. And but then that was before Discovery bought HBO from AT&T, and as soon as Discovery bought them, all of the stuff that they trust HBO with um, kind of just got axed, and it sucks. A lot of people, some people make the mistake of blaming Cartoon Network for these things. It's not Cartoon Network. It's the people from Discovery who bought HBO that are causing these problems, and they somehow just don't care about how this looks to the public. There's definitely more HBO and Discovery stuff that I'm going to talk about this episode. But let's go over the comics that I've been reading lately first. You have any comics you've been reading lately, Amir?
I started reading Wildcats, the 1999 Wildcat series, because it is being brought back. They're coming back in 2023, I believe, early 2023. So I've been reading that. That's really about it.
Okay. So I've been reading Jujutsu Kaisen. Uh, it's starting to feel like a mix of Dragon Ball Z and Bleach, and I'm not necessarily saying that as a bad thing. Especially since I love Bleach, I love and Dragon Ball Z. It's just that DBZ specifically isn't known for its amazing storylines. You know, Jujutsu Kaisen has a story that does just enough to explain why the fights are happening, but it's mainly about the fights. The only problem is that unlike DBZ and Bleach, the action is extremely hard to follow in the manga specifically, and consistently has me saying this will look so good animated because what Mappa did with that first season, being able to translate the sometimes confusing action of the manga into something far more visually interesting and less confusing, was magic. So I can't wait to see how they do that with the future chapters. Um, One Punch Man. We finally seen Saitama not only use his full power against someone just as powerful as him, but also surpass that power. It was dope. Uh, he's now at a point where I feel like you can say for certain, based on what he's been explicitly shown to be capable of, that he's up there with characters like Goku and Superman. I feel like before you can only assume because of the way they're making it seem that he was potentially up there, but we never actually see him perform those feats. Now we've seen him perform those feats, and it's ridiculous. That arc has also just wrapped up. This this arc has been going on for so long. It's like ridiculously long. I was getting kind of tired of it, but it finally ended. So that's dope. Give me a second. Okay. So Blood Syndicate, Milestone comic. So the final piece of the Milestone Media puzzle. I read the first three issues because I didn't realize it had finally came out. And I think at this point, like a fourth issue had also come out. So far it's pretty interesting. The Big Bang that gave people in Dakota City superpowers also gave some gang members and their powers, and they're using their abilities to wage war against each other. Especially since Icon and Rocket cleared out the more organized gangs. Um, One gangbanger in particular named Holocaust, who has pyrokinesis, super strength, and super durability, is plotting a hostile takeover of not only the gangs of the city, but the entire island that the city's located on. So, yeah, it's wild. He's not a good person. He's constantly setting people on fire. Um, it's been really good so far. It's up there with Hardware in terms of my favorite of the modern Milestone Media comics. Radiant Black. I've decided to take a break from Radiant Black. Let the prices of the issues go down and just take a smooth break. Um, so as I assumed, the original Radiant Black Nathan, who lost his powers after almost dying, he had them returned, and his best friend Marshall, who took up the mantle after him, was after he well this happened after his friend Marshall almost died, so he took up the mantle of Radiant Black again to save him. It seems like they may end up using the Radiant together, and that's interesting. So Radiant Red has ended. It's the end of the miniseries, but the beginning of another because they're definitely going. Excuse me. I don't know why I'm stuttering so much today. Going to continue it in the future. Like I said before, I like Radiant Red more than Radiant Black, honestly. Mostly due to the main character. Um, she goes on an interesting journey about like finding out whether she's good or bad, and ultimately discovers that it's not that simple, and that she's not either, and instead she's like something somewhere in between. And I love characters like this. It's why I love Ahsoka so much. I love characters who go on a journey of self discovery that goes against everything they've been taught their entire lives. With Ahsoka, she had to find her way of being a Force user after realizing that the Jedi are far from perfect. And another character I love that goes through something similar is Zuko from Avatar: The Last Airbender. He spent his entire life trying to be bad to impress his father, when ultimately he's always been a good person, and he had to figure out who he truly wanted to be. With Satomi in Radiant Red, she was the golden child of her family who went to college, became a teacher, and entered a loving marriage. But it turns out in reality, her husband is a gambling addict who steals from her to feed his addiction, um, which results in Satomi robbing a bank to pay off his debts. And she tries to get out of the life of crime after almost killing Radiant Black, the original one, Nathan, but gets pulled back in and she starts to enjoy it. And then just her life as she knew it gets upended, and now she has to kind of figure out what she wants to do. Last but not least, I read Wonder Woman Historia, and it was good. It chronicles the history of the Amazons, starting from their conception by the goddesses of Olympus. The artwork by Jean Ha is beautiful, but it runs into the same problem I have with Ichiro Oda, the creator of One Piece's art. It's in such excruciating detail that it's kind of hard to look at sometimes. But overall, it's good. I'm enjoying it a lot. I'm excited to read the second uh issue or volume, I guess. Um, yeah, it's been good so far. So yeah, that's all I got when it comes to comics. Moving on to TV and film. So Ghost of Tsushima, the director wants it to have an entirely Japanese cast, and for the spoken language in the film to be Japanese. and Sony is completely on board with this. Excuse me. I assume the Mongolians who don't know Japanese will likely speak their native language as well. And people, specifically English speakers, are complaining about this. And to them, I say you need to learn that the world doesn't revolve around the West, and there are other languages that exist. Like not everybody speaks English, and sometimes they have to watch famous American movies or Western movies that where people are speaking English. So like, deal with it. Read the subtitles. It's not that deep. I think that Americans need to become accustomed to watching things with subtitles because that's probably going to become more and more of a thing as more foreign films become popular in America. So have you heard the news about the Madam Web movie by Sony and their Spider Verse?
Yeah.
Yeah. So apparently the film is like a time travel adventure where Madam Web and others have to make sure Peter Parker is born. So it's kind of like the first Terminator film. And honestly, that makes me kind of interested in it because I like Terminator. The cast right now is Dakota Johnson as Madam Web, Sydney Sweeney as Julia Carpenter, who is the second Spider Woman, Isabella Merced as Anya Corazon, aka Spider Girl, Celeste O'Connor as Maddie Franklin, aka the third Spider Woman, Adam Scott as Uncle Ben, and Emma Roberts as Mary Parker, aka Peter Parker's mother. Um, yeah, this sounds interesting. Um, like this is one of the cool things I feel like they could do with the universe of Spider People. That I'm glad they're doing something more interesting than just making a movie about a villain who doesn't really need their own movie. Like Morbius. Uh, Now here is where we get back to the WB stuff. Um, so David Zaslav sucks so bad. So apparently, Zaslav got outvoted on I believe this Tuesday. It's currently Sunday, August 21st. Um, with regards to the Ezra Miller situation, majority of the WB Discovery Board wanted to indefinitely shelve the Flash, but Zaslav was against it. Zaslav doesn't have confidence and is worried about Aquaman 2. Aquaman 2, Amir, the sequel to the film that made $1 billion. He fears that the movie that made $1 billion might turn out to be a major dud or might get delayed. The sequel to the movie that made $1 billion. So he doesn't want to get rid of another major property off the DC slate. So he called in another meeting, um, and it got heated, and there were shouting matches happening at WB. That's stupid, Amir. That movie made $1 billion. People are gonna watch Aquaman 2. Am I wrong? So yeah. It also is rumored that Batgirl had similar test audience scores as Black Adam. And I don't know if that means Black Adam is gonna be bad or Batgirl is good, but either way, it's proof that there's some bullshit at play with that movie getting canceled and that it was definitely like more and more articles are coming out saying that it was done because they're trying to get some type of tax write off and like save money. And they're doing this a lot specifically with the shows and movies starring people of color. Another show that is has like a show that I didn't hear of, but apparently has been doing pretty well about a Latino family on HBO Max is also being shelved. Um, Not shelved, straight up canceled. And like yeah, you know, I'm starting to see a bit of a pattern here. Also, Warner Bros. Discovery let go four top executives. All four of them are women, and two of them are women of color. Said women are Karen Grant, Selma, and Jennifer Giddens. And like yeah, like I said, starting to notice a pattern here. Anything you got to say before we move into She-Hulk?
It was something about, oh yeah, Aquaman. I can actually understand his worry about Aquaman 2 not making as much money, especially with everything with Amber Heard going on right now, because
That's
there's
true.
been a lot of backlash around that, around Aquaman 2 and the inclusion of keeping her in the film. I can actually understand why he might be worried that it's not going to make much money.
Let me ask
I
you
don't
this
know
though,
how much
Amir.
it's actually going to affect the or like the sales of tickets
Yeah,
for
I
the
was gonna
movie,
say.
but
Let me ask you this, Amir.
I can actually.
I get what you're going for, right? But you think that he's worried about the Amber Heard situation, and that affecting Aquaman. This man, who very clearly seems like he's kind of racist and also doesn't care about the fact that Ezra Miller has been terrorizing the world, and he still wants to release that Flash movie. You think that's his argument, Amir?
I'm not saying that's his argument. I'm saying I can understand why he'd be worried about Aquaman too.
I I don't think he's as smart as you are. I don't think he's thinking about that situation at all. I don't think that's affecting his decision.
I don't know. I guess I don't know. We'll see when it comes out. But I don't know. That's immediately what went to my mind when you said that he was worried about, or that he said he was worried about Aquaman too.
No,
That's what went to my mind personally.
$1 billion is a lot. I can't say it'll make $1 billion again, but I'm sure Aquaman 2 is gonna make a lot of money. So moving on to She-Hulk. I like She-Hulk. It was really fun. It was very entertaining. Uh, it was funny without being forceful, like Multiverse of Madness and Love and Thunder was for me personally. I never have been someone who has noticed or disliked the MCU style of comedy that people talk about a lot of the time. It wasn't until these two films, Multiverse of Madness and Thor: Love and Thunder, that I really noticed it and was like, okay, I see what people are talking about, and it's annoying. Um, yeah, mostly because of, how poorly those two films were written. Those the bad jokes stick out like sore thumbs. But yeah, it was great to get more Bruce touching on the horrors of being a Hulk again, by projecting his experiences onto Jennifer. Um, and I think Tatiana, I cannot pronounce her last name, and I forgot to type it up. So I think that she is delivering a great performance so far, and that it you can feel that she's having fun in the role, and I think that's always a good thing. And I'm once again hoping that this show sticks the landing. Every single one of these shows except Loki, I feel like started strong but ended up stumbling along the way. Whereas Loki, I feel like um, it started okay for me, and then it got stronger as it went on. So how do you feel about She-Hulk?
It was not my cup of tea. I didn't find it funny much at all, and I thought the ending fight was really weird.
Oh, I
And I
hated that
thought
fight.
that fight was like actually ridiculous, and I thought that Hulk kind of acted out of character for me, and that they just kept getting unreasonably irritated with each other over the most minor things that real life people wouldn't get irritated with each other for, and
Like what?
it
Like
wasn't for
what?
me personally.
What stuff did get
Oh, like
irritated?
every single time Jen like showed him up during something, and then he'd get irritated, and then she'd get irritated in response, and then she'd get irritated, and then he'd get irritated in response. It was just back and forth, back and forth. It's my biggest complaint with Cobra Kai, where I'm like, everything in Cobra Kai would be solved if everyone just like took a breather for a second, and that's just kind of what I kept feeling in this show, where I'm like, 90% of the conflict between these two doesn't need to be a thing, and realistically probably would not be a thing, and it just kept going on and on and on and on, and it just wasn't my cup of tea.
I think that their problems made sense. He was upset that she was getting through it easier than he was because he had to deal with it for 15 years. And there's a lot of, she said it herself. This guy has not gone to therapy. He's dealt with all of this himself. He's, he's not, he's not the most, I'm not going to say sane. He's not the most mentally sound person. He can control it better. He's fused the personas, but he still has that anger, and he hasn't talked to a professional about these things. He is going through a lot, and he's seeing her just breeze through it and going, I spent 10 years being a monster. And she's just, this is easy for her. It's light work. I understood why he got upset.
I don't know. I feel like me personally, I just didn't find it very believable, like at all, that they were getting irritated with each other over stuff like this. But I don't know. I was already just kind of watching this for Daredevil, and I'm just gonna stick through it until he shows up.
That's fair. So, moving on to video games. Street Fighter 6. At Evo, there was a trailer for Jury and Kimberly. Kimberly is the complete personification. Have you seen the trailer, actually, before I start?
Not at all.
Gosh darn it. Well, honestly, we're about to wrap up soon, so I'm gonna send you a trailer. You're gonna watch it right now. So I feel like Kimberly is the complete personification of why people are finally excited for Street Fighter again. She has an amazing design. Her gameplay looks fun as hell, and she adds more diversity to the roster. White bread ass Luke should not have been the face of the game, and instead it should have been someone like Kimberly. Luke is one out of like a dozen blonde haired, blue eyed MMA fighters in Street Fighter. So the fact that it was decided that he would be the face of the more street and hip hop influenced Street Fighter is ridiculous. Failing any of the new characters, it honestly should have been Sean, the Afro Latino Shoto that people have been wanting back for years. He's a familiar and beloved face. He's part of the culture that they're leaning heavily on for the game's aesthetic, and he's a Shoto. For those who don't know, a Shoto is a character whose fighting style is similar to Ryu or Ken's. So they have a fireball, a spinning kick, and a flying uppercut, along with some other things. Basically, those are good characters for newcomers to learn. And if Sean's a good character for newcomers to learn, he's an Afro Latino person. Like, come on, he just fits the aesthetic of what you're going for. He should have led the charge as like the main like he should have been in the place of Luke as the main character that they're constantly pushing in the promotional material. Um, Jury's new costume is very similar to her Street Fighter 4 one, with slight differences, with the addition of like a mint green accent in various areas, and she has a new haircut. But gameplay wise, she plays like a combination of her Street Fighter 4 and 5 variations. And Jury is my second favorite Street Fighter character after Ken. So I definitely I'm gonna have some fun playing her. Also, the soundtrack for the game has been interesting so far. Jury's theme sounds pretty good. Her theme in Street Fighter 5 was so bad. Her theme in Street Fighter 4 was pretty good. And so with Street Fighter 6, they're remixing everyone's theme. They're no longer just using the remix. Well, they're making new themes. Excuse me. They're no longer just remixing themes from Street Fighter 2. So that's interesting. Like Guile, Chun Li, and Ryu are the only Street Fighter 2 characters that have been revealed and had their new themes officially posted to the Street Fighter YouTube channel, and they're all pretty good so far. So I'm excited to hear the full version of Jury's theme as well as the full version of Kimberly's theme. What did you think of the trailer, Amir?
It was a Street Fighter trailer.
What does that mean?
I it was a fighting game character introduction trailer. I thought Kimberly looks interesting. Other than that, I don't really have much to say about it.
Okay. So have you heard about the Disney and Marvel Game Showcase?
Yes, on September 9th, and unfortunately, I will be working during that time, and I'm actually kind of upset about that because I really want to watch it.
I'm glad you had all that information. It will feature incredible new content from Disney and Pixar games, Marvel games, Lucasfilm games, and 20th century games. Which I didn't even know that 20th Century Fox had like a game studio. But there are rumors of an Iron Man game. Have you heard those rumors?
Yes, I have, as well as rumors of a Blade game.
Yeah, both of those things would be dope. I didn't hear about the Blade game, but like I've been wanting a Insomniac Spider-Man level Iron Man game for years, and I just imagine being able to switch armors or like play as just Tony Stark and like jump off a building and call an armor to you. The possibilities are endless. Um, I just I've like an open world, let's just free roam Iron Man game sounds like the best thing ever. There aren't a lot of games where you play as a character that can just straight up fly. And flying is something like when you ask somebody like what superpower they want, flight is high up there on the list. The power fantasy of flying is such a popular thing that I feel like games haven't really taken advantage of. Maybe because it's a difficult thing to do. But there are flying vehicles in games. But again, maybe that's also a difficult thing to do, and that's why they don't do it. But like, there should be more games with flying characters out there. Um, so yeah. You so what do you thinking we're gonna see from this? Some Star Wars game news? Any other Marvel games? Maybe we'll hear more about that Black Panther game.
We are 100% hearing more about the Marvel game made by the Uncharted, the Skynet Studio game. We're 100% hearing more about that. That was announced. We are definitely hearing information about DLCs for games like
Avengers.
Not DLC for Midnight Suns, but DLCs for Skywalker Saga.
I was like, Midnight Suns
We're
isn't even out,
hearing.
is it?
What'd you say?
Did Midnight Suns get delayed?
Actually, I don't know. Midnight Suns I haven't been following all too much because I'm not interested whatsoever in that game.
Me neither.
So I literally could care less whether it gets delayed.
Yeah,
but
Amy Hennig, who directed Uncharted, I believe 1 and 2. Yeah, she's her
and 3. She left up for 4.
And 3. Okay, yeah, yeah. She's making a good game, Marvel, or is it Star Wars?
It's Marvel. It's a Marvel. It's been announced to be a Marvel ensemble game, and people have been speculating that it might be a Fantastic Four game because, during a live stream with someone who's been working on the story for the past year for this game, someone said Fantastic Four in the chat, and the guy responded that somebody actually got it directly correct in the chat as far as the title for the game goes, and the only reasonable title in there was something about the Fantastic Four. So people have been speculating that it will be a Fantastic Four game, which would be interesting.
I wonder if it'll be co-op. I also wonder if it'll be, like a what's the word I'm looking for? Linear. Because I have a feeling it probably will be. I feel like that's the type of work that director usually does. But I wouldn't be surprised if it wasn't linear. But or something akin to like God of War, where it's mostly linear, but there are some like open sections. But yeah, I wonder if it'll be co-op mostly, since there are 4 characters.
Yes, I do. I think it might be co-op. I'm not sure, but obviously that hasn't been announced. We'll see on September 9th. But I feel like if it's an ensemble game,
yeah,
chances are it's probably going to be co-op. Then again, you never really know.
Do you think
Guardians of the Galaxy was an ensemble game where it was not co-op?
Yeah.
But
do you think we'll get an official like not reveal, but official announcement of that Black Panther game that was teased, or yeah, whatever it was. It wasn't even teased. It was just a person who, off the tail end of the Wakanda Forever trailer, said a little bit too much when they weren't supposed to.
That's possible. I wouldn't put too much faith in that, but it's certainly possible.
Yeah. So sticking on that superhero game trend, let's talk about Gotham Knights. There's been a lot of information about Gotham Knights posted on IGN. I assume you, being interested in the game, have watched a decent amount of it, if not all of it.
I have seen literally all of it, and I'm also in the Gotham Knights Discord, and seeing as the fact that Discord never turns off on my computer, I have been seeing literally everything.
Okay, so let's talk about the skins first and foremost. Do you have a favorite set of skins that they showed, or do you like any of them at all?
I don't have a favorite set. I have a favorite skin for each individual member. I will 100% be mixing and matching. Batgirl has a lot of really good ones. I don't remember any of them, like the names of them off the top of my head, but Batgirl has a lot of good ones. I like Jason Todd's more like Shinobi style skin. That one was pretty cool. The one shown in the Tim Drake gameplay breakdown trailer where like they go over like the moveset and stuff, everybody's had one.
So I can tell you the names.
Wearing like
I can tell you the names of them.
What'd you say?
I can tell you the names of them. So so you're talking about the Red Robin costume? That's from...
No, though I do like the Red Robin costume, but that's not the one I was talking about.
So which one?
The one I was talking about was in I believe it might actually be his year 1 suit. He's wearing the jacket and the hood, and he's got like gauntlets and boots on and everything. Like It definitely looks like pieces of the Robin suit, but it looks more like something out of We Are Robin than out of.
I think that's the year 1 suit.
I thought that was his year. I wasn't sure, but I'm pretty sure that was year 1.
Yeah, there's the year 1. There's the Night Watch, the ones designed by Jim Lee. There's the Eternal suit style, which is the one with the Red Robin, as well as the Batgirl suit that we saw in the Mr. Freeze trailer. Not trailer, but gameplay. There's Night Ops, which looks strange to me. There's Neon Noir. There's Shinobi, and there's year 1. Yeah. And there's Beyond, which I'm not a fan of the Beyond suits.
I'm not either. I'm glad you said that because everybody's like, "Oh, Beyond looks so good," and I'm like, "No, really doesn't." I don't like the Beyond suits like at all.
I think I like the Batman Beyond suit in general, and I think what makes it good is its simplicity. And they did the complete opposite with these suits designs and overcomplicated them.
They do that with the Arkham games too. It's very simple in like Arkham Asylum and Arkham. I actually might not even be in Asylum, but it's very simple in Arkham City.
I think
It's
what
basically like
makes
ripped right off the screen of the old Batman Beyond cartoon, but then in Arkham Knight, it's like the most over-designed, over-complicated suit I've ever
yeah,
seen.
I think all of them should have just been wearing like a black skin tight suit with maybe a little bit of extra detail to make it look cooler in the art style. And then like with the Batman Beyond suit, it's like the mouth's covered. Well, you can see the mouth, but it's all black, and you have the white eyes, and the emblem is the only thing that's shown that's in color. And what should have happened is Nightwing costume's already all black. You just give him all black, and you cover his face with all black. You make his eye white, and you keep the symbol blue. I think since Batgirl has the yellow, you keep her with the yellow symbol. You give Red Hood the yellow symbol, and his helmet be all red. And with Robin, since he has yellow and red, he also has green. So you make his Robin star. I think you make it green so that he has a different color from everybody else. And I think that's how they should have done it, but instead they overcomplicated it. But yeah. So who's your favorite for Nightwing and Batgirl?
For Nightwing, I'm probably just gonna go with the Jim Lee suit. For Batgirl, I'm not sure because she has a lot of really good ones. I can't think of any that I particularly like for Red Hood. I'm going to go probably with the Jim Lee
I thought you
suit from
said
the one that we.
I thought you said you like the Shinobi one.
Sorry, what?
I thought you said you like the Shinobi one.
No, I don't. I'm not. I'm not a big fan of any of the Red Hood designs that we've seen so far. I like Jason Todd's more like Shinobi style. I want the closest thing to like Rebirth Red Hood, which I guess is the Jim Lee suit, but he gave him a vest instead of a jacket,
I want
which I think I can't for the life of me fathom why they just refuse to give Jason a jacket in this game. But like there have been very few suits with a jacket on them, and the suits that do have the jacket don't look good. But
I also want a Rebirth Red Hood suit, but not the Rebirth you're talking about, but the Rebirth suit where he looks like Ermac, because that's my favorite Red Hood suit.
I hate that suit.
I love
So
it. I know you hate it, but I love it so much.
actually, I don't hate it. It's just I liked it when it first came out. I think it lasted way too long as Red Hood's main suit.
Oh, it could last forever, and I would not be upset.
I, I'm very glad that he's back to a more traditional Red Hood suit in the comics now, even though it still looks very weird.
Yeah, I
He's not
was gonna
using
say
guns anymore.
I hate his current suit with that gray bodysuit that looks like riot gear armor. I hate it.
I do not hate it. I think it looks kind of cool, but it's certainly better than his Ermac suit, his Mortal Kombat guest character sin. But as far as Red Hood goes, I'll probably be rocking with the Jin Lee suit because they cannot seem to, for the life of them, give him an actual jacket for some reason.
He has a jacket
And
in each of those. He has a jacket in most of them.
but the jacket, the rest of the suit looks bad, and like all the ones he has a jacket, I'm like, y'all just like combine like 3 different suits for this, please. Like just once, just make an exception. Um, I do really like Robin's Red Robin suit. That's probably what I'm gonna use. But I did really like his year one suits. Year one suit looked good.
Yeah, I like
And
the
for Batgirl, she has so many suits that look really good. Like her starter
yeah.
suit is like the only starter suit out of all the knights
Yeah,
that
the
I
only thing I
actually
don't
like.
like is I don't like that mask. I really don't like that mask.
On the Batgirl suit, I don't mind the mask at all. I think it fits her suit a lot. I think it's a better version, in my opinion, of the Burnside suit because I really don't like the Burnside suit, but I like this suit. Um, and I really like the one in the Mr. Freeze trailer. I like her year one suit. I love the Batgirl suits, and this was just hilarious because I don't plan on using Batgirl or Red Hood much at all. But like, I like her suits more than anyone else's, and I like Red Hood suits the least out of everyone else's.
What I like about the Shinobi suits is that Robin's his eskrima sticks turn into swords. They're like short swords. Um but yeah, they also showed gameplay for Batgirl and Red Hood. Red Hood looks better, but he still doesn't look particularly good. He's the tank of the characters, and he almost feels like too much of a tank. Like he's too slow and too chonky. It looks strange. He looks like he's not going to be a very interesting character to play. How you feel about his gameplay?
There is a reason that I will be using him the least. He's just doesn't look fun. I guess out of all the Bat Family characters in this game, I think Batgirl would probably be my least favorite, but I'll be using her a lot more than I would be Red Hood because at the very least her gameplay looks a lot of fun, or it looks like a lot of fun, and it's basically the Arkham gameplay a little bit. And if I'm feeling kind of like want to go down memory lane, I'll probably be playing with her. But I don't really plan to use Red Hood. Maybe actually, what I was thinking I might do is just put on like a spin the wheel type of thing, and like put all four of them in there, and so every mission. I just like spin the wheel and I play one of them. But like for side missions and stuff, every other bit of content that's not main story, I'm playing only Nightwing and Robin exclusively.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna
But
play. I'm definitely probably gonna play Nightwing mostly. That, granted, that's also a if I play this game. I feel like this is another one of those games where I'm like, either I have to hear it's great or wait for a discount.
oh no, I'm playing this game regardless if it's garbage or not. I will like sell my soul for this game. I love this game so much, and it's not
Uh,
even out yet.
so seeing this game, makes me imagine a Ninja Turtles game, but with like 4 player co-op instead of just 2 player. An open world Ninja Turtles game in this style, I feel like would be really fun. And I've like written stuff down about how a game like that could play. And I think it would take place. It shouldn't take place like it shouldn't be like Spider Man where it's the entirety of New York. It should be an isolated area in New York. So that way they can instead put more detail into the sewer system under that area as well as the rooftops because they'll be mostly spend their time in the rooftops and in the sewer, but also like there's the alleys and the streets and stuff, and that's where you mostly explore. And like the main modes of transportation is every character has a different mode of transportation, and I'm thinking it would be similar to like Jet Set Radio or like what is that game called? Sunset Overdrive, where Mikey has a skateboard, obviously, and because Raph mostly used bikes, I was thinking a dirt bike, but instead I was thinking it's gonna be like a BMX bike, so that he can do grinds and stuff like a Jet Set Radio, but it gets upgraded by Donnie to become like an electric bike on like almost like a dirt bike. Leo would have rollerblades, which I consider like not giving him rollerblades because I was like, if Casey Jones in the game, I feel like he should have rollerblades, but I didn't care. Leo has rollerblades and Donnie has like a scooter, and I thought that would be so cool, and just have them up on roofs grinding on like the edge of the buildings and the the power lines. I just think that would be fun. Open world co-op Ninja Turtles game would be really fun. I feel like this style of gameplay could work for them. Definitely if you bring in the more mystical stuff from Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, I feel like that works really well with the more kind of like arcadey style of combat. Um, I feel like that would be real interesting. What do you think of that idea?
I'm not necessarily sure how I feel about the Sunset Overdrive or Bomb Rush Cyberpunk because that's my preferred.
That's that's the that's definitely the example I was using instead of Jet Set Radio, because Jet Set Radio only has you grind on your feet rather than, except in Bomb Rush Cyberpunk there are actually bikes and
I
skateboards.
was hurt that you didn't mention Bomb Rush Cyberpunk. Like I was sitting here like, wow, he's really not going to mention it by name.
Yeah, I
I
said
had to bring it
yeah,
up.
I said Jet Set Radio because that's the one that people will be more familiar with. But Bomb Rush Cyberpunk was the actual one that I directly took inspiration from.
I had to bring it up. I love Reptile Studios. I had to bring that up. But I'm not sure how I feel about those type of mechanics, but I would love a Gotham Knights style TMNT game. That would be a lot of fun.
And I
And
feel
I don't
like
know why they haven't done one yet. Like it
yeah,
really seems like a no brainer.
and it would make more sense for them to bring in that. Some of the stuff that seems a little bit more weird in the Gotham Knights game, like the glider that Nightwing has, or the mystical powers um that Jason has, like it would make more sense with the Ninja Turtles than it would with the Gotham Knights. Like Donnie having a glider that flies him around like that makes sense for the character, and bringing in that mystical element to have, like, obviously Raph would be like the Red Hood of this game, the big giant tank, and him having that giant like soul step would actually make more sense for him. He could kind of like be a little bit like the Hulk where he just like leaps very far. Like I feel like that kind of works a little bit better for those more cartoony characters. But That's all I got. If you don't have anything else to say,
I do not.
yeah. So I'm Dijon. I almost said my real name. I'm Dijon. You can find my ads below me, both Instagram and Twitter. That's Amir. You can find his at below him, and the Muscular's at below that. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to our channel if you want to see more storytelling content, and to click the notification bell so that you're notified when we post. Peace.